Mandinian was the first habitable planet found in the local sphere. 3 times the mass of a standard Gaia class, made the planet a true giant amongst the habitable worlds, with a density to make the surface gravity to be around 10 meters per second square. The only problem upon this world was the escape gravity, too strong for conventional chemical rockets, making any surface-to-orbit travel need an extensive infrastructure that no colonial fleet had the money to employ. Its atmosphere, compact and thick, created a shroud across the world. The air was rich in oxygen, a clear signal of long-lasting life. Below the thick clouds of the planet, upon its surface, lies a potent ecosystem, a dark reddish carpet of plants, covering the surface of the world, from pole to pole. There, life played its myriads of music within the planet, continents moved across the vast seas, covered with algae and photosynthetic life. For over 3 billion years, the planet evolved into this quiet place, gestating a race that would become its lord, the Mandari. The Mandari were a race of radially symmetric sentient life forms, with a 6-limb body plan that permeated every animal life of the world. 3 leg-like limbs were fixed on their lower abdomen in 120-degree intervals, and 3 upper limbs were used for general tasks. 2 times taller than they were wide, the creature resembled 2 cylinders connected by a narrow waist, with a third making up its head, where a single eye sat. A creature with a poor depth perception. It was a generalist omnivorous communal organism, living in families of average 20,000 individuals, whose vast majority will never reproduce, instead aiding the reproductive capable individuals of their family to pass their genes forwards by caring and protecting them. This species would split hundreds of times during its 140 million years of evolution, until a particular group of Mandari developed a gene that expressed more intelligence. Its workers had a larger brain, capable of learning from the environment and teaching to the others by the complex clicking sound patterns of their jaws. In a few generations, this new group would develop a form of agriculture and systematic labor capable of prospering, while other species would perish. Soon, their numbers grew, with the average hive of the Mandari reaching into the hundreds of millions. Contrary to the migratory species, the Mandari didn't spread with speed across the planet. Instead, they took their time, growing and consuming the local resources, while they expanded and drove their competition into the realm of extinction. Fire was discovered and tamed only 200,000 years after agriculture, with a new invention spread fast along the quadrillions of Mandari that lived within the world. It didn't take long for the Mandari to invent states and civilizations. After all, for millions of years, their ancestors had already built cities and waged wars against rival nests. Millions of states would count with trillions of individuals, often fighting with each other, in battles of hundreds of millions of warriors. Or forging diplomatic pacts and building wonders of engineering that dwarf their hives themselves. From the saliva and mud to sandstone and aluminum, the cities of the world were erected. Electricity brought the light to the surface of the planet, while planes and locomotives crossed the vast playing fields of their continents. Even surviving their own wars of annihilation and industrialized warfare, the race was prospering. Even if they never had any interest in what lay beyond the clouded skies, their single eyes never paid attention for what lay beyond, until they had to. It started as myths, rumors of thunder in the sky, the ground shaking, entire villages being wiped out from the map by something big, too big to be of this world. Some Mandari thought that was the end of the world. Others' theories implied a new form of life that originated below the world, now is active again. Many didn't know what they were and pressed their governments to answer them the questions. For over 2 weeks, the million local nations close to the sites of strange disturbances tried to cover what happened, a cover that would fail spectacularly. A creature, no, a monster, over 1,000 times the size of an average Mandari, fell across a nation's capital. Its body stretched from side to side of the megalopolis, home to billions. The creature collapsed into the city, its impact destroying 10% of the hive outright, with the fall of its body causing more destruction upon this unfortunate nation. The creature laid there, immobile, for over 2 days. Its sight was a thing of dread and awe. Contrary to the radial body plans, this creature had much more alien form of symmetry, with a pair of arms and a pair of long legs that made its frame much taller than it was wider, a creature that was cursed to be in constant balance or risk to fall. From the cuts on its skin, a voracious ooze of a viscous red liquid floods the surrounding lands, quickly solidifying millions of Mandari as they fight to flee from the alien torrent. The ground zero from its landing was a scorching hot place. Most of the Mandari couldn't survive the thermal heat output of the creature, with those who could survive quickly finding themselves victims of strange creatures that lived in the skin of such a giant beast. Many Mandari stormed to the site. Some claimed that the creature was a holy being, a proof of the divine made manifest. Others simply tried to go into the destroyed area to loot what they could to help themselves from the misery. In the span of a day, the army of the First Contact Nation was fighting the creatures from exiting the area while trying to hold the religious fanatics and opportunistic looters for getting out of the place. The leaders of the local region tried to find a solution regarding what to do with the creature. For hours, the presidents, kings, sultans, pontifical, argued about the fate of the strange creature. Enterprises and clandestine merchants discovered the contents of the creature's hair. It was keratin. The substance was so strong and flexible that it quickly became a material valued by the black market, with convoys paying bribes to the army officials to let themselves enter the exclusion zone. All of them, zealot, warrior, soldier, privateer, mercenary, humanitarian, would stay still when in the dawn of the third day, the thing twitched. Panic arrived. All channels announced the movement of the creature. The miracle was moving. The devil was coming. The being was alive. And it was in need. Drunkenly, the being rose to its full height. It was a creature impossibly tall. Its shadow casting a darkness across the city, madness ensued as the being stood. For several minutes, the helicopters and aircrafts flew around the being as far enough to not be taken by the constant turbulence created by the creature. It surveyed its surrounding for a second before the scale of its power was demonstrated. It dragged its frame across the megalopolis, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Its path was random, almost impossible to predict. In mere minutes, millions were left dead as whole habitation blocks were wiped out of the face of the planet. Author's name and the link to original text is in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you want to listen to the subsequent parts of this story.